Good afternoon and welcome back to West Ham and United. I am Anton and you're here with your West Ham Daily News. Thank you very much to Russ from My Hammers 11 for passing on that West Ham torch today. An epic, apologies mate, I think I was literally 45 seconds late from actually clicking the button. So listen, bear with us. We're getting there, mate. We're getting there. But yeah, good show from Russ today, of course. So if you haven't already, go across and check out My Hammers 11. And as you can see from today's show, I'm going to be talking about Jesse Lingard. And it's going to be kind of a short show, which is the whole point of these shows in particular. But, you know, Jesse Lingard, there's been a lot of chat and media reports, etc., around what's going to happen moving forward into the summer. And apparently, according to reports, Jesse Lingard may not get to sign for West Ham on a permanent basis due to his wage demands. But I am suggesting that that is total and utter rubbish. And I'm going to talk my way through why and a little bit about the story behind it. So Lingard has joined West Ham on loan from Man United, as we know, in the January transfer window, and he had been frozen out at Old Trafford, but has found a new lease of life at West Ham. So far, he scored 9 goals, provided 3 assists in a claret and blue shirt, but not just goal involvements. It's about his all-round play that's really energised our forward line, well, except, of course, for the Everton game. His renewed form has led to much speculation about his future. Only 1 year will remain on his contract with Man United by the time he is due to return. So they face a tough decision on him. And if they decide to cash in, then we would think that West Ham seemingly would be one of the main suitors. And of course, as you can see, Lingard's settled in at the club. He's making friends. He's putting all the relevant right comments out on social media. You know, someone alluded to the fact that he got some custom-made trainers for his daughter and all that sort of stuff. So it does allude to the fact that he looks settled and is happy there. But those plans may have been put in tatters, according to reports, due to the financial aspects of the deal. So according to the reports, Lingard wants a 4-year contract, which rightly so he would at his age, worth up to £100,000 per week. And apparently West Ham simply can't afford that. Of course they can. Of course they can. I don't know where people get this information from. There's no doubts whatsoever the club has taken a hit financially because of the no fans in the stadiums and the COVID impact it's going to be moving forward. Of course, West Ham can afford it. I'll explain it why a little bit further on. But apparently, West Ham have put on hold contract talks with most of their players, including manager David Moyes. We've lost money, like I said, amid the absence of fans from stadiums, and we're now trying to plan for the future. Qualifying for Europe, which of course we have a real chance of, could help our financial situation, of course. So the midfielder is set to return to Man United in the summer and see out the last year of his contract. And he may have struggled for action under Solskjaer previously, but could he be given a second chance at Manchester United? Keep your comments in and let me know your thoughts behind it. So we hear West Ham may not be able to afford him, but let's take a look at some players that may be going out the window and the exit door from West Ham this summer, and what potential fee we could get for them, and what their weekly wage is currently at West Ham. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the players that, you know, it's going to be hard because some of the players I like as well, but let's bring Yarmolenko into the equation. Yarmolenko contract ends at the end of next season, 2022, and he's on an estimated £100,000 a week. So obviously, if West Ham look to offload Yarmolenko, we can generate probably a reasonable fee. We probably won't make back the fee that we bought him for. However, we could probably make back a reasonable fee and save on £100,000 a week there. So there is your saving. There is your money guaranteed. This is not even including the money that we've already got that we would invest into the squad naturally. So this is why this story is just doesn't really grow arms and legs at all. Then let's talk about the current players in the squad, and we'll talk about a few players that are out on loan. But what I want to ask you is, what fee would you expect to receive for a player like Yarmolenko, who's of course he's been injured, he's coming back, he looks a bit slower, but he's still clever. Where could he go? What could we get for the likes of him? It's reported that Balbuena is heading out the door. His contract ends at the end of this month, end of this season. And he's on an estimated £45,000 a week. And West Ham still could go back in and negotiate a contract, but I think he may actually leave the club and try and get maybe closer to home. What do you think will happen with the Balbuena? But there you go, 45k a week has been saved. Ryan Fredericks has been chat about him. Contract ends at the end of next season on an estimated £48,000 a week, another nearly 50k. So we're up to 200k off the books already. Current players out on loan. Winston Reid, hurts me to say it, but his contract ends in 2 seasons. He's on an estimated £65,000 per week, and we could generate a fee. He's been playing at Brentford on loan as well. So what fee would you expect to potentially get for the likes of Winston Reid and saving upwards of 65k? Now we're into £250,000 savings per week, and then followed on by Felipe Anderson, whom I think West Ham should give a shot and keep for the following season. His contract ends at the end of next summer, and he's on an estimated £80,000 a week. So we're upwards of nearly £350,000 saved per week. And people are trying to tell me that Lingard can't happen because we can't afford it. I don't believe the hype. I do not for a second believe the hype. It's just incredibly it is clickbait, and in theory you could slag me off for saying Lingard's future decided question mark. That is a little bit clickbait. Of course it is, but it's me telling you a story related to something that's been put out in the press, and I'm actually going, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's going to happen. And this is just going to be down to the negotiations between the two clubs. Lingard, Manchester United, first and foremost, does Lingard want to stay at West Ham? And I do genuinely think he does. I think European football will play a part of it. He is in a pivotal part of his career. He is playing well, albeit not against Everton. I think that was only that game and the Fulham game were really not his 2 best games in a West Ham shirt. He's more or less outweighed those 2 performances with the rest of his performances in his West Ham career so far. So what do you think? Do you think he has a future at West Ham? Do you think West Ham will buck up the money and pay a fee to Manchester United to bring Lingard in? I think Manchester United, I don't see them giving him a second chance. I don't see Solskjaer doing a second chance because I don't really see what benefit it will be. I don't think Lingard wants a huge amount of squad rotation. He's become one of the main men at West Ham, and I think he loves that responsibility, and that really shines through in his performances week in and week out. I'm going to jump into the comments and see what everyone is saying in there. So, like I said, it'll be really interesting. Ironclad, rumours due to the financial impact. We cannot afford Lingard. I don't see a problem. If everyone agrees to move, we can always loan him again until funds arrive. But Ironclad, we have the funds. They're going to have a budget to bring in players. They're maybe not going to be a big budget that we want. However, are you telling me now if David Moyes won't want the impactful player of Jesse Lingard, he may take a hit somewhere else in the team where necessary, and that could have an impact on future signings, but they're going to have to, and that's why European football is pivotal to West Ham's season. Scott Randall, thank you for coming in. Really good to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us again. Hope you're well. James Bond, good afternoon, you Iron Monkus. Yes, thank you, James. Yuna Lito, can you please decide my future in the same stream? I wish everyone could decide all of our futures. Father Snowman, hope you're well. Thank you for joining us as always. Like I said, epic hash time, mate. I think we must have been a minute, not even late. So apologies for that. Thanks to Russ from My Hammers 11 as well for passing on the West Ham torch. James Farmer, afternoon. I hope the image he posted of the shoes for his daughter is an indication of what he wants and isn't him blowing smoke up our backside. Well, no, I mean, listen, I think players have to be reasonably careful on social media. Is he going to be sitting there posting images of Manchester United or opposition teams? No. Do I think he's fallen in love with West Ham? Yeah, I really think he has. Have West Ham, if he feels like he owes something to West Ham, for West Ham, in theory, taking a bit of a risk, it kind of goes back to it's not similar, but you can make comparisons with Di Canio. No other club wants to take a risk with Di Canio, but West Ham did, and look what happened there. And I'm saying, Lingard was down in the dumps, and he spoke out and said it. He mentally wasn't right, and West Ham brought him in, put an arm around him, and David Moyes has just created this the player that we all knew that was in there from Jesse Lingard, and that could be the thing. And I think you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt that the media report. However, I do think that West Ham are going to be using Lingard as our main priority to get. You bring Lingard in, you get European football, and you build the team in and around him and Declan Rice. And I think we do need to obviously bring in other players as well. He will have 2 more children, live a happy life and smile loads throughout his days. Daniela Stewart, no, at Daily Mail, the Spurs love in paper. Try to Lingard to go and get him. I mean, listen, let's be really realistic. Are other clubs going to be interested in him? Absolutely, yes. Of course they are. Why would they not? He's an informed player in the Premier League. But West Ham have got him. And West Ham have been doing really well this season. And if West Ham want to progress and move forward, it's pivotal we keep a player of Jesse Lingard's ability. And I think he'll see that as well. And I think he'll buy into the vision of what David Moyes is doing. Marcus, thank you for joining us. Mike D, another new reason for being late. Anton and Stella are going to come up with something different. I really don't think I was late, was I? I apologize. Mark, is that Mr. Mark Window, as in the Mark Window, as in the one we drink with on a regular occasion when the football stadiums are open? Anton has caught the lateness from the Winkle picker. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Hey folks, hope you're well, Caden. Mike D, West Ham are used to taking hits, Anton. We are, mate, but now we're under David Moyes, and I just don't think he's willing to let the likes of Lingard leave West Ham permanently. It might be out of his hands, but I think that's going to be it. He's going to go all the way out to get him. Harry Lee, if West Ham pull out from the Lingard deal, other teams will snap him up 100%, but we're not going to pull out of it. I'm going to have the faith in what David Moyes is doing. Peaks, big up Antonio, that on time-ish man, under 5 minutes late, ain't late. But yeah, mate, yep, you're right. James Farmer, no more than 6 million for Yarma. I think we can get more for Yarmolenko, to be honest. I really do. I think we could probably generate upwards of nearly £10 million. And I think it's just going to be how the manager or how it's been sold to the opposition teams. Send Yarmolenko to Tottenham. Peach, big up Anton, under 5 minutes late, mate. Glenn Marshall, Yarma lucky to get 8 million, just too injury prone. Would you take 8 million for him? No. And then there's £100,000 off the books there. Daniela Stewart, do not believe anything the Daily Mail says. Its main football sports writer is a well-known Spurs fan. Absolutely don't believe what they say. Absolutely don't care what they say, to be honest, and that's why I'm dissecting a story and telling you no. I like to keep Balbuena. He's decent. Why buy Phil Jones? I've seen that story today. We're not doing any transfer stories just now. We will be doing them in the next few weeks when the season finishes. However, we're not doing them just now. But yeah, I mean, you know what? You've got to put faith, Joan, in David Moyes and what he's trying to do. And could he bring in a player and bring out the best in him, like he did with Dawson and like he's done with Lingard and like he's done with all the players that he's worked with? Quite possibly. So I don't know. I think that link is putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with that. However, there's no player that I couldn't really see David Moyes going for. Phil Jones you could get for a reasonable transfer fee. He's got a lot of history in the Premier League. It's not. Doesn't get me going. I'm not massively excited by it, but I can see potentially where it is. One thing is, I think we do need to strengthen our defence, no matter what anyone says. I know we've got Dawson, I know we've got Diop, Balbuena and Ogbonna, but we've got an aging defence and a player that fans massively aren't that confident with. He's in and out of the side, so central defence is a position I think we may have to look at. Bonnie Hammer, where are the sources to confirm we are skint? Paper talk. Well, no, it's not. I think realistically, most clubs will lose a lot of money. West Ham relied heavily on the gate coming in and the pandemic, and of course it's hit the shop as well. I think people have spent money, but they've had to do a lot of reduced prices as well. And then obviously a lot of people don't pay their season ticket up front. I was a fan who paid not my full season ticket, I just paid the deposit, therefore I don't enter the ballot for the Southampton game. But a lot of fans have followed suit with me as well, and that will have an impact on the board working with working capital, and that's what you need to do. You work with working capital to invest into the team. Give Anderson to Tottenham. I don't agree. I'm really sorry. I don't. Keep the general. Daily. Let Tottenham buy Jones. James Bong, if it says so in the Daily Whale, it must be true. Absolutely, exactly, mate. And that's why I'm coming out and calling them out. Absolutely calling them out. DMH Balbuena is a great squad player. I'd keep him, sell Yarma. I think the problem with Balbuena is I think possibly he may want to go. That's the thing. I don't think he dislikes West Ham, but I think he probably wants to be closer to his home. Bonnie Hammer, I don't get Anderson. If he just copied the likes of Fornals, he'd be class. How hard can it be to do the basics? I think the thing with Anderson is that he needs to play centrally for West Ham. I think his position only really works centrally for West Ham, not out on the wing, which is what he did for Lazio. It doesn't work well in the wing for West Ham because you need players to be able to track back, and that's not what he does. That's not his footballing style, but you'll get the best of him playing in that kind of number 10 role. So I think he's got a future. I just don't see the point in selling Felipe Anderson, because what we're going to generate is an income, 15 million pounds for him, save 80 plus whatever £1,000 a week. Or you get a player that you could potentially spark again under the right manager, i.e. Moyes, find his best form and offer West Ham a fantastic season. It doesn't work out. He has a bang average season. His transfer fee goes up and we generate more of an income. For me, it's a no-brainer to keep him. United after yesterday, if you think they're doing to go and get Rice, Henry Richards, yeah, I'm just so disappointed after that. Really massively done with that. Glenn Marshall, we need Lingard 100%. A different yes transfer. D.A. Crossman, keep Balbuena. Wally World, keep Fredericks. And I do agree with Fredericks as well, because, you know, what was interesting was when Soufal came on the park, he went out left and he absolutely nailed the left back position, and Fredericks jumped into the right back position. He offers us a bit of pace, and, you know, Moyes is getting the best out of him as well. Mark Window, I'd be really surprised if Lingard doesn't want to stay. Finances are going to be tight across the league. Don't see how we are any worse off. Yep, completely agree with you, mate. James, thank you for joining us. Afternoon, all Stew 77. Thank you for joining us. Michael, thank you for joining us. Harry Lee, keep all the players. They already have a thin squad. If you lose one player, it will impact the whole squad, depending on who you bring in, though. And I think there are a couple of players that probably do need to go. And I think Yarmolenko will generate that fee, of course, as well. James, we must give 110% for these last 3 games. Mark, is you, and it's good to see you, mate. And hopefully we'll get to meet up again come the new season. James Yeoman, why are we trying to sign a player, i.e. Tammy Abraham, when he wants to go to Aston Villa? Again, it's all paper talk just now. I think you've got to put 2 and 2 together and come up with your own answer. Tammy Abraham, is he a player that Moyes would probably be interested in? Quite possibly, yes. Do I think there's a generic link there? Well, who's not linked to West Ham, James? And there is rumours I've seen talking about a loan move for him. He's not getting a lot of game time at Chelsea. But there's talks of £40 million fee. It's not happening if that's the fee for him. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. Daly will be lucky to get anything for Yarmo. His injury is prone and useless. I think we could. I think we really could get something for him, to be honest. Glenn Marshall, it's mad that the season will finish in 2 weeks. What a brilliant season it's been. Absolutely. And with 3 games to go, we could go and finish it off in style. So fingers crossed we can do that. Dawson out. Watford Dawson has been activated. Got to give him time, mate. I mean, listen, I think he'll come back into form. I really do. And we'll go from there. But each to their own. James Farmer, the benefit we have over Spurs is we didn't take the government loans. Absolutely, mate. Zach Parker, but they've taken other loans out from the owners, haven't they? The Daily Mail is the biggest BS right-wing paper. Don't even read it. I don't. Absolutely don't. Just seen loads of stuff kicking about. Thought I'll do a little story on him. Dawson with Phil Jones. Don't. Daniela Stewart, by the way, great work this season, lads, on the channel. Really enjoyed. Was 8 late to the journey. Daniela, massively appreciate that comment. Thank you very much. And I really do hope you enjoy the content. We try to do something. We try to be a little bit different, but it's tough to be. You know, so many channels out there. But we try and have a bit of a laugh, and we try to recreate what we have, the vibes when we go to the stadium. And hopefully we do that with things like the matchday lives, etc. Kent, Yarmolenko is the one that has to go. Anderson only has a year left. Keep him. Completely agree. Completely agree with you, Kent. James, I can only imagine what an on-form Anderson and Lingard would do together, and it really is exciting. That's an exciting prospect. I think if they were looking at that, it would be really interesting. On Reddit, they're talking about Stell selling Anton to Arsenal Fan TV. Don't know if that's true. Well, no, it wouldn't be Stell selling me to Arsenal Fan TV. It would be me selling Stell to Chelsea Fan TV, because Stell is a Chelsea fan, of course, isn't he? So keep an eye on that one. Daniela Stewart, I think European football will give a spark to the club next season. What's this clickbait headline, Anton? Hey, fool, that's not clickbait, mate. Lingard's future's decided, ? I'm just telling you. Has it been decided? If you believe reports, it has. And I don't believe the reports. Like I said, don't believe the hype. Tammy loan with a view permanent deal would be a good option for us. And I think if we do get someone like Tammy Abraham on loan, young English centre forward, it would be definitely a good option. Mark Window, unless Moyes plays Anderson centrally, we might as well sell him. Yes, I think he has to play centrally. I totally agree with you. I remember the Newcastle game under Pellegrini. He was totally effective in that position. Out on the left, it just doesn't suit his style at all. But I think if Moyes could just put his arm around him and just get the best out of Anderson, like what that comment previously was, imagine an informed Anderson and an informed Lingard playing together. It could be a bit unplayable and unstoppable as well. Absolutely. A bit of cash plus Benrahma for Ivan Toney. I don't think we will see the last of Benrahma. I genuinely think that we actually might see Benrahma start against Brighton, even after his performance against Everton, because that's the game that you would put him in for. That is the actual game that you would play the likes of Benrahma. So I would be surprised if he doesn't start. But then we are talking about David Moyes and the unpredictability of his starting 11s and formations, of course, as well. Heard there's a striker Moyes is interested in, Jordan Hugo, who, of course, has been promoted with Norwich this season. So, yeah, it'll be quite funny. Afternoon all, Mick. Robert Singleton, Anton, have you and Gio from Hammerschat ever travelled down together? No, we've not, Robert. We used to meet up down at the stadium actually a few times. So no, we don't. Kent, we can't afford Lingard wages. Looks what we're probably paying for one-legged rocking horses. That's the exact point, mate. That is the exact point, 100%. And you're talking to everyone in the chat, and that brings it into really the story today. Do you believe West Ham can afford to bring Lingard in? Do you believe the hype and the story about that Lingard, West Ham can't afford Lingard? I've told you through today's video the players that we've got and what they're on. I mean, I don't even actually think I included Lanzini in that. I think there is a picture that I didn't include, which is Lanzini, who's on a reported, let me just tell you now, I can't believe I didn't put him in, £75,000 a week is Lanzini's on. And his contract ends in 2 years' time. So there's another player we could save a fortune on. But would you rather keep the likes of Lanzini because he played in that deeper role and he played a lot better in that deeper role and can offer us a new outlet from there? Listen, we're thin in our squad, and we're going to need more players to add to our squad. Even if we don't qualify for Europe, where hopefully we do, if we qualify for Europe, we're going to need to add more and maybe start to integrate the younger players through in the squad. But when you're talking about the likes of Balbuena, 45k a week, Fredericks 47k a week, Manuel Lanzini 75k a week, Yarmolenko over 100k a week, Felipe Anderson 80 grand a week, Winston Reid 65 grand a week, and you're talking about, out of those players I named, which is 2, 4, 6 players, 5 you can probably receive a fee for. You're telling me we've got no potential options to bring players in. It's interesting to see what people are going to say. James Yeoman, Yeoman, are we getting Marko Arnautovic back? Nope, we are not. So don't believe that either. Top 4 will still happen. People trust me. Mick, I am on your wavelength, mate. People think we're crazy. But I mean, Brighton game, massive, huge game. We need to win it, and we need to just hope that. I think the key to this one will be Liverpool's game against Manchester United. We need to hope that Man United can not do what they did against Leicester and actually really turn up against Liverpool. But then Liverpool are still capable of losing games. The season's not done. The season's not done for any team, and it's going to take a few more twists and turns with not a couple of games to go. So we'll see. Harry Lee, if the owner don't bought Lingard, all the blame put on the owner, not cause club no money. And Motor 1912, stories about wages are best advised to read with a pinch of salt. So many clubs play stupid wages for bang average players, and at least relegation spots sorted. That will help us. I don't know, John. I don't go into each game. I always mindful of saying on paper West Ham should beat these teams, but we're coming up against Brighton, who West Ham haven't beaten in the Premier League. We're coming up against West Brom, who don't have pressure on and have been relegated, and we're coming up against Southampton, who are on the beach, but they've got players like Danny Ings who can just bang in goals when he wants to, and you've got players like Danny Ings who's fighting for a place at the Euros as well. So we need to be mindful of that and go for them. But I do think West Ham are just going to have to outscore our opposition. That's why I think we're going to see the likes of Benrahma, etc., start. West Ham should get Europa League, Conference League, at least from Ballum. James Yeoman, I think Danny Ings would be a good signing as backup. And to be honest, yeah, I do think he would be. I didn't think he was, but he's just absolutely proven everyone wrong once again. But the issue with Danny Ings is that I think there may be other bigger clubs. The rumour is there's a lot of bigger clubs looking at him and giving them an option off the bench. And do you know what? See if the likes of Man City can get one season out of Danny Ings in an important season, then I genuinely could see him. It's going to be the last move he's going to make. Robert Singleton answered, yes, we can. We need two strikers. A cheap one for me would be Woods from Burnley. It's funny because, he doesn't do a massive amount of work rate, but he's always in that box, and he's a kind of like more mobile Andy Carroll, really, isn't he? He's effective in the box. He can cause people a bit of problems, but I just don't see Moyes buying him, to be honest. Pete saying 100% Anton, this season is not done. Kent, the ball is in Lingard's. He hold all the cards. Yeah, the ball's in, absolutely, in Lingard's, in his hands. Ings is brilliant, but injury prone. He does have injuries prone, but why would Danny Ings want to be a backup? Funny, I don't think he would, mate, if West Ham did bring him in. I think he is a far better player, as Motor 1912 is saying. But yeah, Kent, you're right, mate. He is injury prone, and I wouldn't touch him. He is injury prone, but I'm not saying I wouldn't touch him. I'm not saying that because he's consistently scored goals in the Premier League at that level. So it's interesting. Anyway, get your comments in. Let us know your thoughts on Lingard's future. Do you think we've got the money to buy him or not? But for me, it's a no-brainer. We have. Get your comments also in and let me know about Yarmolenko. What fee you would like for Yarmolenko if we're going to sell him? What fee you would like for Anderson if we're going to sell him? What fee you would like for Winston Reid if we're going to sell him? What fee you would like for Lanzini if we're going to sell him? What fee you're going to like for the likes of Fredericks if we sell him? And if you don't think we would sell him, then who do you think we will sell and how much they are? Thank you very much for joining us. Like I said, this is the West Ham Daily. We do this Monday to Friday, 1:15 p.m-ish. If it's still, it's probably 10 o'clock at night. If it's me, it's usually on time. But we're going to potentially look at changing the time slot, and what we'll do is actually update people each day, but this is not going to happen this week, but maybe come into the new season, we'll update people each day what time the daily is going to go out at, because obviously we have to manage our time around work, etc. But people seem to be enjoying the daily shows, so yeah, please keep an eye on them. Last night we did a player rating show. Go and check it out. We're going to be changing the day of the player ratings. We've definitely decided the player rating show will go out the day after a game rather than 2 or 3 days after the game, so that will be changing in due course. And yesterday Stell done a really good video on the update on ticketing at the stadium, so go and check that video out yesterday, the Daily Show. And I think people are starting to hear now if they've been successful for the ballot for the Southampton game. So if you have, please let us know if you've been successful for the ballot for the Southampton game. I'm not going to lie, I'm jealous if you have. I'd love to go to a game no matter how many fans is there. So yeah, keep us updated. Anyway, subscribe, like, comment, and thank you for watching. Come on, you Irons.